In this video, we'll look at how to install ROCm on Rocky Linux. Even though we are using Rocky Linux in this video, the steps for installing ROCm on other supported Linux operating systems are similar to what we'll share here. First, we'll look at how to install and confirm prerequisites. Verify that you are on a supported operating system. You can do this by using the uname command and by looking at the contents of the etc os release file. The output of the uname command should confirm that you're on an x86-64 platform. Within the etc os release file, we're particularly interested in the name, version, and ID fields. Here you can see that we are using Rocky Linux version 9.5. The ID is listed as Rocky, and the ID-like is listed as RHEL, CentOS, and Fedora. The ID-like field is particularly important as it indicates to the package manager that this operating system is similar to RHEL and CentOS platforms, which are supported for ROCm installation. You can review the list of supported operating systems for ROCm installation at rocm.docs.amd.com. Next, we will install prerequisite software that is required before installing the AMD GPU drivers and ROCm. On Linux platforms, we need to install the kernel headers and development packages for our Linux kernel. On operating systems that are similar to Red Hat Enterprise Linux, we will need to add the EPEL repository and enable Code Ready Linux Builder repository. To add the EPEL repository, we can grab the EPEL release RPM from the Fedora project. Once downloaded, you can use RPM to install this repository. Next, we will use DNF to install the DNF plugin config manager. We will then enable the Code Ready Linux Builder repository. Now we can install the kernel devel and kernel headers packages that are specific to our Linux kernel. The version number of our Linux kernel is obtained using the uname-r command. Once these repositories and packages are installed, we can now add users to the video and render groups. You can do this individually by using the user mod command, or you can configure your adduser.conf to do this automatically when new users are added to your system. First, add the line add extra groups equals to 1 to etc adduser.conf. Next, we will set extra groups equal to video and render at the end of adduser.conf. Now we will focus on installing the AMD GPU DKMS driver. This is done in three main steps. First, we'll add the necessary repositories to the system package manager. We'll then update the package manager and then install AMD GPU DKMS. To add the repository for the AMD GPU DKMS driver, we add a file under etc yum.repos.d/amd.repo. This file contains all the necessary information to point the package manager to the AMD GPU repository. The contents of this file can be found at rocm.docs.amd.com. Similarly, we will add a file under etc yum.repos.d/rocm.repo, which contains the necessary information for the ROCm repository. Once these packages have been added and we have run DNF clean all, we can now install the AMD GPU DKMS driver software. Once AMD GPU DKMS has been installed, we need to reboot the system. After a few minutes and the system has rebooted, we can now look at installing ROCm. To do this, we can simply use the package manager to run DNF install ROCm, which installs all of the ROCm software ecosystem. Once ROCm and the AMD GPU DKMS drivers have been installed, we should now verify the installation. The easiest way to do this is to first verify that your GPUs are being detected by rocm-smi and rocm-info. From this point forward, you should be able to start developing AI, ML, and HPC applications on AMD GPUs.